Greetings. We are the Harrises. We got Shelby Harris, current NFL player. We got Chris Harris Jr., Super Bowl champion, alongside myself, Ryan Harris. And boys, let's get it started with the SmackDown NFL version that we saw between the Eagles and the Chiefs. What do you make of Super Bowl 59?
It's something that we kind of all knew could happen, but we didn't expect it to happen because it hasn't happened to this point. I think everyone around, the league and everyone around all the sports channels, the big talk was, well, the Chiefs can be beat. They just haven't been beat really yet. And the Eagles just didn't beat them. They beat the hell out of them. I'm talking about they stopped them boys. And that's exactly how, we've been talking about it for weeks now. That's how you have to beat the Chiefs. That's how you have to go out there and dominate them and make them, a one-dimensional team. You went out there. We've never seen Patrick Mahomes struggle like he did in that first half. And so, where's that credit go? Are we going to say congrats to Vic Fangio, once exiled from Denver? Like, are we going like somebody who we can't forget like all those Chicago defenses that he put together before he got to Denver, and then now that crazy amazing performance that they put together in the Super Bowl. But man, that I think it says enough when you have over 50 plays in a game and not one blitz. That right there shows you who won the game for the Philadelphia Eagles. And it was that D-line and that pass rush. But man, that was a masterclass of how to whip some ass from the Philadelphia Eagles, and it was. I think everybody can say that they enjoyed watching that because it's been a long time since we've seen the Chiefs put up a performance like that.
Right, and when you look at Philly and the schematically what they played, they played cover six, they played cover four, and the way they play cover six is when you have cover two to one side and the safety high, and then the other side is cover four, so the corner would have to take the deep routes on the other side, on the front side, and what they would do on the back side is they would play that cover two safety kind of like in the middle, right, to kind of take away the deep shots from the front side post. And it worked all game, right? Sit back and play coverage, switch it up between cover four and cover six, and a little bit of cover two. Let the 4D linemen rush the quarterback, right? And it worked, right? They didn't blitz. When we went to the Super Bowl, we blitzed all game. That's all we did is blitz. But seeing them guys come out and not really have to put the pressure on him like that, with bringing five or six, getting rushed with four. I mean, that's amazing. That means the Chiefs O line was really not good at all, right? They can't handle four all game. Their O line is really, really, really struggling, and we've really seen that during the playoffs, right? They had guys out of position. They had guys playing guards just playing left tackle. They had guys all out of position all playoffs, and it just came back to bite them, man, in that Super Bowl. And shout out to Coach Fangio. He kept it really simple. The game plan was very simple, and he just let his guys go out there and do their job.
Hey, but what you got to realize though, like you said though, they got a guard playing left tackle, and you have a starting caliber left tackle on your bench, and then you have a backup left guard in Caliendo. What was the point
Yeah.
of bringing in DJ Humphries if you weren't going to play him at the biggest moment? And if you saw, a lot of the pressure was coming from that left guard spot. The tackles were getting a lot of that inside pressure from the left guard spot. But you see it from when the way that Philly punished the Chiefs for the way they play. Philly punished the Chiefs for always playing off script and not having, a executing offense, that we expect in Super Bowl.
Well,
Philly punished them for that.
three things, man.
Right.
One, Josh Sweat played his ass off. I mean, you talk about a player who showed up in the moment. Josh Sweat, defensive end for the Eagles, 2.5 sacks, really almost 4 on the night. He was a monster. The game of football actually won in addition to the Eagles, right? And the big thing I want to talk about, the Chiefs have been getting away with this kind of, we've got the quarterback, it'll be okay. We can put a all-pro center and put him at left tackle. By the way, I never want to hear a center or guard talk about how much harder it is to play center or guard than tackle. We all saw what the truth, right? It's harder to be out there at tackle. But the Eagles have a complete roster. They have corners. They have defensive tackles. Milton Williams was unbelievable. I mean, the Milton was like, he was just fantastic. And
I'm gonna set
so
his grandkids
when
up.
you're going against a team, and Chris and I know this, when you're going against a team, it doesn't matter who your quarterback is. But people are starting to go down this road, and it wasn't just the Chiefs. Look at Cincinnati, right? Look at Buffalo. So I mean, I think that the notion that you can just build a championship team off of a quarterback, that's dead now. And conversely, I believe that we've now seen the evolution in Super Bowl MVP Jalen Hurts. The quarterback has to be able to get you 40 to 70 yards rushing in a game. And if you can do that, you can shut down the run game with the running back, but you're going to leave this open. And that's what I love about how the Eagles won. They learned their lesson, and there's going to be a lot of talk about whether if there was a turf field in that first Super Bowl between these two teams, that the same result would have happened, right? But I'll tell you something. When you're looking at the Eagles, they were so willing offensively to do whatever was necessary. Okay, you're going to stop Saquon, great. Here, now try and stop Jalen Hurts. Oh, you want to try and stop? Do you want to try and stop Smith? You want to try and stop Brown? I mean, these are the way that you have to play to be an elite offense is you have to play if then, and you have to have the capability to do that. And the roster that the Eagles had was phenomenal. And the way offensively that they were able to, with the options, contribute and deliver was really something special. I mean, let's give something for Johan Dotson, man. What's he doing out there? You know what I mean? That man showed up and he played too. The squad and the team that is the best team will always beat talent. But then the last point, boys, I want your opinion on this. We saw something from Mahomes that we've all been at one point or another. We saw it in Travis Kelce and really the rest of the Chiefs too. But when you see those eyes in that second quarter that are just wide and away and kind of like you don't know where to begin, how did you guys get out of that in that situation in your career?
Man, we saw it though. We saw the Chiefs sitting there, head down, staring at the ground, looking out of it, looking down, just looking sad. But man, I just look at it as being an NFL athlete. Man, it's our responsibility to
Yeah,
get over that shit. We got to go out there and figure that shit out, and that's the only option. And obviously, with our record this year with the Browns, we had a lot of losing games, and so it was a lot of times that you're thinking about this, about how you should handle yourself even when you're losing, and how to keep fighting while you're losing. And I always say this is what we get paid for. This is where, especially in a time like the Super Bowl, this is where your name becomes a legend. This is where some player that we haven't heard of is supposed to step up and make a play to save their team and get the team back hype. If it's special teams knocking somebody out on kickoff, punt return knocking somebody out, just making a statement play to really change the game. And that's what the Chiefs were lacking this whole game. Where it's just once they got punched in the mouth, it's just like a bully. The bully got punched in the mouth, and the bully went home crying. And that's what we saw with the Chiefs, and they couldn't shake it. They couldn't shake it the whole game. So I think this is the first time that we've seen somebody take it to the Chiefs like this since Mahomes has really been there. So it's just it was a very different game, something we haven't seen before. But also it's something that the Chiefs are going to have to learn from. And everybody can take some positives out of everything, but that's something the Chiefs are going to have to learn from and learn. Even though this season has been all close games and has been all one score games and all that shit, no, they have to learn how to fight back after you get punched in the mouth.
And the game plan, man, it was the game plan. They come out and not run the football at all. Right? Last year they won the Super Bowl by Mahomes being a game manager. This year, the game manager had been working, and then we get to the Super Bowl, they don't want to run the football, right? I think it was three times in the first half they ran the football, right? That's terrible, right? You got to give Hunt the rock, you got to give Pacheco the rock, you got to put some pressure off of Mahomes, especially when the team is sitting back in coverage like that. That's when you run the football, right? No, it's not like this team was blitzing or had cover one out there. No, they had open lanes. They could have ran the football, but they knew that the Chiefs, their game plan wasn't to do that. So that's the biggest issue right there. Was the game plan with Coach Andy Reid. Mahomes should have been that game manager. They should have ran the ball a lot more. And when you have it like that, man, you can just have the. That's why the D line can just keep rushing every play because they know that these guys aren't going to run the football. Right. So when you have it like that, man, it makes it easier on the defense. It makes it easier on the D line, linebackers, everybody. And it really comes down to Coach Reed, man. I don't know what he was thinking with that game plan. and he really set
One of the things
Mahomes up
too
for
that I
failure.
think people miss, and Patrick Mahomes talked about it in his post game interview, which again he showed up. He was accountable. He said he can't put his team in that position. He also said though he goes, we have a lot of guys that this is all they know. And you think about it, you have 3 years of rookies on the Chiefs that only know going to the Super Bowl. And I think what happens in that situation is if you have 70% of your team doing that, you have guys thinking that, oh, I just got to do my job and Patrick Mahomes is going to take care of the rest. No, you have to improve every week. You can't depend on someone else on your team for the success. And I think we really saw that too, because to the point that Shelby's making, they got hit in the mouth for 3 years of rookies. They've never been there. They didn't know how to fight back. They didn't know how to talk trash. And for me, it was always, I'm going back to the basics. I always said you got to punch yourself out of the matrix, right? I'm going back to setting and striking the numbers. But you just had a lot of young players who have only known success, who now are looking themselves in the mirror thinking, I've been missing all this work and I failed in the biggest test of my life.
Man, you got to also look at, just we have not seen someone have a first half against the Chiefs like the Eagles had against them since Mahomes has been there. 24-0 at halftime. And pick six, two interceptions. It's just it's really tough. Like it's just really tough to be able to fight back from that. And no matter how great your quarterback is or how great your team is, 24-0
Mm,
at half is you're not coming back from that.
mm.
Hmm. No, not coming back from that, man. And we can see they were struggling, man. And the Eagles' game plan was smart, right? Sit back. Let's see if this guy can beat us with his heroics. Let's have nice coverage. Let's keep an umbrella, right? Let's make sure we don't give up the big plays. They didn't give up any
Mm.
big plays until the second half, right? To Worthy, right? Let's keep that umbrella right there. Cooper DeJean plays great in the slot. Slay, Mitchell, all those guys played well in the secondary, and the linebackers. What's the linebacker name?
Yeah.
Bond,
Zach Bond,
Zach Bond. Man, he was a baller, right? He was great in zone, great getting to his drops. He's great in man coverage. That
About
guy's
to get
been a
the bag.
playmaker all year, right? So it's not like the Eagles. Yeah, it's not like
Hmm.
the Eagles don't have any dogs. They got some dogs all over the place on the defensive side of the ball. So I love Fangio's game plan. I love how they executed it. And now let's get to third down, right? Let's get to Josh Allen winning the MVP because I was shocked about that, about the results, what happened right there. Well, how do y'all feel about Josh Allen taking over Lamar Jackson for the MVP?
I thought it was awesome. I mean,
go
I,
ahead,
I
Ron.
was shocked with you that Josh Allen won the MVP. To me, it was Lamar, then Saquon, but it's clear now. The writers are done seeing what Lamar can do in the regular season. Nobody cares anymore. He needs to win a championship. So I think that
Hmm.
that makes sense. What I did love though is when Josh Allen accepted his MVP trophy, he thanked the equipment guys and the security guard that he sees all the time. I mean, I made it a fact to know all the equipment people as well as the people in the building that are non-football related, and to be able to show that kind of leadership and appreciation, I really love to see because it sets a new standard. I mean, every single locker room in the NFL has equipment guys that do not get paid enough. No one gets paid enough if the three of us are on the same team to clean our dirty underwear and practice stuff, right? They ain't got enough money for that. So for Josh Allen to win the MVP, yes, I was shocked, and he exemplified why he did it by thanking and recognizing his teammates and everybody else around the building who had a help in his success.
Man, it's just it's tough for me to talk about this because it's true voter fatigue. We don't want to allow Lamar Jackson to be in a class of his own or to be up there considered with one of the greats because it's been 3 years of dominance from Lamar Jackson. But you know, Josh Allen had a great season, and nobody's denying that. Josh Allen really led his team, especially in a season where nobody really expected them to do much. I think that with Lamar Jackson, though, we had somebody literally have him as the
Mm.
the fourth option on the MVP ballot. Would that, how does that make any sense? What are we looking at? And that's where we start to think about, should the writers even have this vote? Should this be
Should be
left
left to
up
the
to the
players.
writers, the people who, yeah, like the people who are so objective of us that literally just hate on us nonstop? Why should the writers have that much power to determine somebody's legacy? That's what we're talking about. We're talking about some like people that don't play football determining somebody's legacy. And that right there with Lamar Jackson being voted fourth place, that shows you that now we just have bias and that we need to get that out of the game because we're affecting people's legacy. We're affecting the future of what Lamar Jackson's name is. And just because you're tired of him doesn't mean he wasn't the best player in the league this year, because he definitely was.
Right. You know, when you look at the numbers don't even compare. Right. Lamar Jackson is clear ahead of Josh Allen in the stats. Right. He should definitely be the MVP. So you know, like Ryan said, it is rider fatigue. You know, we've seen this happen with LeBron, MJ, you know, even Kobe. They didn't even give Kobe
Yeah.
some MVPs that he deserved. Right. So we've seen this happen all across the league and other sports. And you know, you kind of feel bad for Lamar. You know, I definitely thought he should have his third.
Yeah.
Would this be his third MVP?
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought it definitely should be his third. Josh Allen didn't do bad. You know, he definitely I thought he was more of a game manager this year. You know, he made plays when he needed to. You know, he used his legs a lot this year, and he also cut down on the turnovers. So Josh Allen did have a great year, but to put Lamar Jackson fourth, some of these guys voted for, you know, and not giving him the respect that he deserved by the regular season, because this is a
Hmm.
regular season award, not postseason. It doesn't even matter what you do in the postseason. It shouldn't even matter, right? This is strictly 17 games. Right. And if you look at those 17 games, Lamar Jackson's numbers are clear ahead. And, you know, hopefully next year, you know, we get some more realistic votes, man. You know, because they're going to make it close. It's going to be interesting every year. And I see that we got Brandon
Yeah. Go
Graham
ahead
here.
and
Is he
introduce the
here yet?
two-time world champ.
There you go.
Hey,
There you go.
BG,
What
what's
up,
good,
y'all?
BG?
Let me
What
get
up?
my
What up?
introduction, man. Let me get up. Hey, y'all, we got Brandon Graham here. This is his 14th season, two-time Super Bowl champion. Right? One of my guys, man. How you doing, man? How you feeling coming off this other Super Bowl championship win,
You're
man?
looking real championshipy right there.
Yeah.
Hey, man, I'm feeling good right now. I ain't gonna lie, and getting ready to. Hey, I'm just looking at y'all boys inspired, man, because I see, we know what we went through this off season together. The broadcast boot camp, trying to get ready for that next chapter in my life, and man, it's been cool. Like just seeing all y'all, man, just still chipping away. Just give me hope even if I do stay in football or do media, whatever it is, man, I just love to see, the guys be able to do something else they love. And that's it, man. Right now, I'm being still right now, man. I ain't in no rush to do nothing. I'm just
Hmm.
more of where God gonna take me, man, and just enjoying these boys, man, cause they work they butt off all year. And man,
Oh,
we,
yeah.
we we showed up in a big way. When we say everybody make plays, and there's plays out there for everybody, this game proved that for everybody, man. So I was just, I'm just in awe right now.
How was it for
Before
you, the adversity of going through the season, healthy, then you have this tricep injury and you're out for
Yeah.
weeks. How was that recovery for you coming back and then making sure that you're ready to go Super Bowl week and just your mental from finding out, oh, I get hurt, and then now it's time to rehab and, oh, there's a chance I can make it back to the Super Bowl. So let's talk about your mental process throughout this whole situation.
Well, it was hard in the beginning. That first day was like, wow, like man, I was playing I was just feeling so good in the best shape, in the middle of the season where you feel like you in it. And then you know how it is, like you getting better every week as far as, your shape, so you could run to the ball a little more, get off the rock a little faster. That technique of doing it over and over again it was popping at that time. And then I get hurt. And then, the first thing I did was say my prayers, man, and just trying to keep my mind focused on the mission. Like that's all I kept saying. The mission's still the mission. Don't matter. Keep mentoring these boys. Keep making sure that I wear this C on my chest for a reason. So hey, if I'm there on the field or off the field, it don't matter. Like continue to keep being that because people need you. And so I didn't run away and go hide like like we normally do when we get hurt and you feel like you ain't a part of something. I stayed in it. I went to meetings, rehab, but I will say I only went half the day though. I ain't go the whole. I went in the morning. I did the team meeting. I did my defensive meeting, and then position was here and there. But I just wanted to make sure make sure that I had the right the right info. So when I'm on the field with them, I can talk the same language as y'all know, being able to know what the game plan was. And man, I really enjoyed it because I spent some more time with my wife too. And then pick the kids up from school, all that stuff. It just something that I was just getting used to because I know that what's coming up is that's gonna be my everyday. Going to the office somewhere. Maybe I'm in Philly, go to the office half the day, then go pick them kids up and stuff like that. And then just have my own life outside of this and they life that I want to be a part of. Cause we got Texas this week to go for gymnastics. Right after the parade. I gotta get off the float. Then we gotta go get on the plane and head down, do kid stuff, man. So I'm just getting ready for all that. And then, I mean, I'm still gonna stay ready just in case. But if the Eagles don't call back, it's over.
Like you said, it's over. Over.
It's over.
Fatherhood,
You know.
fatherhood never stops, man. So we get that.
hmm
But let's
Yeah.
talk about that game plan. You mentioned it. What did you guys see in the Kansas City offensive line that allowed you guys to prepare and execute for the night that you had in Super Bowl 59?
Well, we knew that Thuney was out there out of position. He ain't like he the big time guard, like he a heck of a player. But he was showing some stuff on that edge where you can tell that he was a guard. And it's like he don't shoot that outside hand. And as a old line outside, you got to use that hand. And I think that the
Woo.
guys just was making sure that they go out there and executed our game plan of we powered them because we knew the guards was coming. So we had to power early in order for us to get in between those B gaps that Mahomes like to go through. Mahomes definitely is a B gap escape type of guy. Of course, he gonna extend it wherever he see, but that's his first thing, and it's mostly towards the slide. From what we noticed, and it was just cool, man, because everybody rushed together. You know how it is, Shelby. Like you gotta rush cohesively, man, as a unit.
Hmm.
Everybody was selfless and everybody balled. You know what I'm saying? Like Sweaty had
Hmm.
2.5, Milton had
Mhm.
two. Usually Milton missed sacks and the other person coming to clean up and he mad on the sideline. You know how that go. We do all that work
Hmm.
and man, other people get the sack and that's been his story all year. And I kept telling him like, hey man, don't worry, you're gonna show up in a big way. I'm telling you, it's gonna show up for you. And it finally did that last game in a big way for him, man. He getting paid after this year, him and Sweaty. Then, Zach Bond, man, another one that a great addition to our when we are blitzing. He is a good pass rusher. He could play outside backer for real, but they put him
Hmm.
in the middle. But I think that for the most part, man, that D line we just executed our game plan and was every possession talking about it. Hey, everything we said is happening. And then once we start sacking them for real, everybody just it wasn't hard to say keep doing what y'all doing. hmm
Man, I think that's the biggest thing people that don't play football don't understand is
hmm
rushing together.
Yep,
Rushing together. Like, so you could have three people when they're rushes, and if one defensive end doesn't keep contained, it does not matter. You
it
all
don't.
have to work together, and that's literally what we saw all game from y'all. So congrats to y'all. That was a master class in pass
Man,
rush
that
right there. We D linemen love
ooh,
to see that shit. Like we love that.
yes,
Hey,
and
before
the
I let you
last
go, oh
the
my
last
fault.
hold
Before
on.
you,
My bad.
yeah,
I
go
was
ahead,
just
go
gonna
ahead,
say just
go ahead,
from the
Eagle.
last game, we owed them two because man, that field was so that
Yeah,
field. I don't make excuses now, but
Was
I'm
it really
just
that
telling you,
bad? Was it really
man,
slick
that
field.
bad?
if you played in Arizona already and you played there that year, you know how slippery it was on that field before that. But then you bring in a new field and you paint it up like you did, and not saying that. I'm just saying, like, that's where, I felt the burn was because as a D lineman, we all had double digit sacks that year. We was every five people had double digits that year. I even had my best year of double digits. That's the first time in my career, year 12, having double digits, well, 13, my bad. And we go do that. And we couldn't, as a D lineman, you need traction, as you know. And so and that's all we kept talking about this week. Me and Sweaty, hey man, they can't run now because we got turf and we gonna be fast on that turf, and now we gonna see what it would have been like because when the D line is affecting the game, man, you know how I go. You take away that first read, bam, you should be hitting them. And that's exactly what we was doing. Taking away Trav, taking away that RPO first read from Xavier. They got a bunch of formations that they do, but they run the same stuff. And we got Vic. I gotta give Vic credit, man, because
That's what
if
I was
you
gonna
got a
ask
good
you about.
coordinator. Yeah, Vic is a great coordinator, man. As much as he was hard on us in the beginning, he softened up a little bit too. And it's been cool because he trusted us. We gained that trust where we executed. We was always on each other, talking to each other in a great way. Man, it was a great week, man, and a great season on how everything built up.
Well, y'all. That's what I was gonna ask you about. Was Big fan, because Vic coached me one year. I
Hmm.
think how many years he coached you, Shelby? Two or
Yeah,
three?
I was with him the whole time in Denver, 3 years.
Yeah,
Hey
three
man, get
years.
him, get him,
You,
get him some hem pants though, man. Get him out of them
Yeah.
the safety pins he puts in the bottom, man. Tell him to grow up. Go ahead, go ahead.
I know, man. But hey,
but
Shelby,
Fed,
I know what y'all saying. Like Vic was tough. Vic was not
yeah,
as tough because you had him as a head coach, so I think that was a little different. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like
yeah.
he was like, we gotta work when we first come in. We gonna work. We gonna do this. Y'all guys don't do this and y'all don't do that. And we kind of, and then he would say stuff to the media that we like, hey, and so Philly kind of changed them a little bit because we like if you gonna trust us you can't be throwing out or you can't be throwing out like salt on people in the media. And you know what I'm saying? Like he would say,
Hmm.
like Josh like Huff this year. It was tough for him because I feel like Huff is a good player, man. It's just the scheme sometimes don't fit certain guys. You know what I'm saying? He a 3-point guy. He Jim Schwartz type of guy. You know what I'm saying? That's
Yeah,
gonna get
Hmm.
you
off.
gotta
No,
drop in big system.
yeah, you got to drop and then you got to rush, crush, close. Then you got to come from a 2-point. Like you ain't just getting in the 3-point every time. But eventually he let us start doing it because, we showed him that we can do both. And you got to gain that trust. But in the beginning, it was all, man, stand up and do this. And we had some rules that we used to have in that 4-3. We had to get out of the rules of like rush, crush, close, all that
Hmm.
stuff. And then we had to start reading a little more. It was like retract. That's what we call it, a retract step where you kind of reading it, then go. But as a D lineman, man, you just want to have that edge, that get off, all that stuff. But Vic definitely was somebody that had us ready every week. And man, execution was at an all-time high because of how he ran his meetings, how he ran his walkthroughs, all that stuff. And even the supporting cast of coaches that we had was a great addition, especially the DB coaches, man. They was, man, phenomenal, boy. I mean, the way they had Coop and all them boys work already, but they already smart. But man, when you put, man, we just had a great team this year, man. And as you know, that don't happen often. But we got some guys, man, that's on that team, and I hope they stick to their guns on like just staying focused, not letting the Super Bowl kind of make them relax because man, they could be special for some years.
Well, one of the things, I want to mention too, Chris and I, when we won the Super Bowl, that field was awful. So that's a real thing. And I love that you said no excuses, but NFL,
Mhm.
quit doing it. That's ridiculous because it really affects the game. But winning a
Yes.
Super Bowl now, your second time, BG, walk us through what you did as the confetti came down.
Man, you know what? The confetti came down. I had to go find my boy Jalen first. I knew he was probably talking to somebody, which I did go up to him. Let him know, man. That's all I said. Let him know. Get them boys off your back, man. And he went through so much this year, and I was just so thankful that he, just defied all the odds because all the stuff we went through this year, the comments I made after the AJ thing and all that, and we got through that and it brought us together because we had to have that conversation. Everybody had to address that elephant in the room. And so I think, man, we all got better as a team, as players, and we all was hugging on each other when we was done. And then I went to go see my family, man. I enjoyed it. I ain't come off that field until they kicked me off, and then I went into the locker room and partied. Wifey took the kids with the babysitter, and she ended up coming in the locker room. It was cool, great experience. So many videos and pictures, and I just relished in it.
And I think we can all say Hell of a career, BG. Like no matter what you decide to do, you're destined for greatness wherever you go. You've shown it every step of the way. I don't know if everybody know, but we were all together at the NFL broadcast and media boot camp. It's kind of how we all got together. But whatever you decide to do, man, just true blessings to you. Congratulations. Man,
Thank you.
hell of a career. Whatever you got going on next, you're going to be great, man. So appreciate you coming on, and thank you for your time, big dog.
Oh yeah, man. Anytime, man. Hey, y'all boys, man, keep killing it. I love that y'all together. And man, who knows? You don't know how this four box look good.
Change your last name
We
to
agree.
Harris.
We
For
Hey,
agree.
real.
We
change your
agree.
last
Yes,
name to
sir,
Harris.
man.
You'll be right over here. Appreciate you, bro.
Yes.
Earn,
Yes, sir.
earn not
Appreciate
gifted.
y'all.
Congratulations. Peace.
Thank y'all.
Well,
Yes,
that
sir.
is an incredible. How about that for our first guest? We only bring champions on here. I mean, we bring the people what they want. And what I loved, especially as we wrap up, I loved how he talked about Vic Fangio, and I know you two played with him, so I'd love more about this. But even that rack step that he talked about, where you have to read and react. But he talked about a coach teaching a 14-year vet and others how to play the same game differently. What's that like as a defensive player?
Man, it was cool because when Vic was in Denver, obviously he was the head coach, but we he was set in his ways a lot with his defense. But then what like I like when BG said is when Vic started to trust them, things change. And I think that's kind of what happened in Denver too, because when he started to trust us up front, we were able to do a little bit different things than what he initially wanted. And so that's what you get, and that's where you get that rack step and all that they're talking about the kind of hitting it, but then also reading it step. I just think that Vic is finally coming to his own and really because last year in Miami, they had the players saying it was terrible. It was a terrible fit. He doesn't fit in here, and that's why he ended up going to Philly. But I think that with Vic there and Vic, going to Philly and really getting his defense together and especially after the letdown that they had last year, and this year you're going in and talking about Sirianni having job security issues, and then they go and win the Super Bowl, and then Vic is probably one of the least talked about assistants of the year that we've seen. But Vic really, what I loved is that Vic really changed that defense and really adjusted him. Great coaches change themselves to fit their team, and that's what you see that Vic did because Vic fit in, and it ended up working out when they won the Super Bowl.
Yo, one last thing before we end. Fangio is one of the best D coordinators I've ever had. Just understanding the fronts, understanding how he coaches the D line, man. I haven't been around anybody that coaches the D line like him, right? Secondary wise, it's I've had tons of good coaches in that area, but D line when it comes to D line in front. I got to give the edge to Coach Fangio, man. He was amazing at it. I learned a lot from it. And whenever I coach, I'm taking some of his defense. I'm taking some of Coach Wade's. I'm taking some of all these coaches, right? And because they have great scheme, they have great, let's say a great system. And his Coach Vic Fangio's system can be pretty hectic, right? Yeah, tons of
It's a lot.
defense.
It's a
It's a
lot.
lot in there, right? And if you're not well studied and well prepared, you can get confused on that, man. So I'm definitely happy to see him finally win a Super Bowl after 38 years. That's
38.
I would have gave up by then, but to see him get that, man, shout out to Coach Vic, shout out to BG, man, getting that second Super Bowl, and Jalen Hurts, man, to I think he got to be in that
Yes,
top five
he
range
beat
now,
the man.
right? They got to put him up there, right? You got to give him respect. He beat the man in the biggest game, and
I
that's what it
love.
takes to move up that ladder.
So does he jump
Yes,
Josh Allen now? Because Josh
Yeah,
Allen, you can't beat him when it
hardware.
matters.
He jumps
he
Josh.
he
I'm so
jumps
glad
Josh
you
Allen.
talked about Jalen Hurts. Let's talk. The thing I want people to take away from Jalen Hurts is that payback is given with a smile. They asked him. Remember now, he got benched for Tua
Hmm.
Tagovailoa, who got to watch his entire playoffs, right? And he got to beat the man who beat him 2 Super Bowls
Right.
earlier, and he was all smiles at the podium. And they said, "Hey, did you know that you could go deep on the Chiefs, or did that develop in the game?" And he smiled, boys. And he goes, "Yeah, that was something that just developed." No, it wasn't. You saw it on film because you were studying for that payback. Payback is not loud. Payback is delivered with a smile because nobody who did you wrong deserves your time. And then Shelby, I want to double click on one thing you said. When a coach, first of all, the players have to trust the coach and do what the coach asks. And I think in my career, I got the one time I got cut, I didn't do what the coach asked before I did what I knew would work. And you have to do what your boss or what your leader asks you to do to gain that trust, and then you can find the spaces to put your individual flair on it. So I love that you talked about that too, Shep.
I appreciate it, but now that we're past the point of Super Bowl, and now we got to talk about the we got rosters about to start getting put together. We got the NFL draft coming up. We got trade requests coming up. I know we didn't talk about it last week because everything was going on, but Chris, you've been a part of something like this. I don't know, Ryan, have you been a part of something like this where, and this is now happening for me. We have a teammate, and this is fourth down. I have a teammate who is requesting a trade, trying to get out of here, trying to get out of Cleveland. As a pro, Chris, Ryan, how would you approach this? Like, how do you handle somebody saying that pretty much your team isn't good enough and we're not going to win here and I want to go somewhere else?
Maybe it might be a great time for this guy to be able to, adventure off, be able to see what his real value is and see who wants him, right? Because I think any team that wants this guy is going to be probably multiple first round picks. Easily a first round pick is in there, and we know how valuable those can be in the NFL. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens this offseason with Myles Garrett. Usually when you give up a guy like him, he's not going to go to a contender, right? Contenders aren't giving up all these picks, for a guy like him. So it's going to be interesting to see what his options are, right? And maybe he just might want to just get out of there. Maybe he just wants a new location, man. But a guy like Myles Garrett, we know what he can do on the defensive side of the ball. Shelby, you would know more about his leadership and things like that. But we see this guy's at the top of the defensive player of the year every year. We know what type of impact player he is, and really, he might be worth the two picks,
To
two first
me,
round
it's a
picks.
distraction, right? Nobody forced Myles Garrett to sign that deal to stay in Cleveland. Nobody forced Debo Samuel to sign that deal for the 49ers. And at the end of the day, it's a distraction. And it's also, to me, an excuse for you, the player, not building the team and the culture that you need to be successful. If I sign a big deal, that means that I'm here
Right.
as a key piece of leadership, and I'm here to help us win. And if we didn't win, that's on me. That's not me getting out. That's on me to create, and that's how I would see it. But at the end of the day, when you ask for a trade like this, it's a distraction. In the case of Debo, this is now the second time in 3 years he's been a distraction for his team. And with Myles Garrett, I mean, the Browns have consistently not been the team that makes the playoffs, right? So he knew what he was signing up for. And to me, to complain about it now seems like you're missing the opportunity to be accountable for the work that you did not do on and off of the field.
Yeah, I just think that when you see the future or you see where we are at in sports right now, and I think it's just more of a reality now that when things aren't going great, this is a ring
Yes.
oriented time that we're in right now, and so everyone's chasing that ring, but like as a player on the team, when a player actually requests a trade, it does nothing to me at all because at the end of the day, he has to handle his business like I have to handle mine. And you know what I mean? And I
Right.
always say, as a grown man, stay out of each other's pockets. It's none of my business. What he wants to do is what he wants to do. But I still got to be ready for when we come back for camp. I got to be ready to play, no matter what, Miles Garrett or not. But like, obviously, you'd love to have him, hell of a player, game changer, like legit game changer. But like at the end of the day, like just like with injuries, if someone gets hurt, you got to just rely on the next guy, and you can't just the whole season just be like, "Damn, I wish we had him. Damn, I wish we had them." No, you just got to go play. And so, like at the end of the day, like he has to do what's best for him. And obviously, with love Miles, love that's my guy. But like I understand, you know what I mean. Like it's tough to tell people what they can and can't do, or they're supposed to stick around for this. But you know, we're in a different age where people are trying to win. Their legacy is based off of how they win. So I don't knock it. I don't knock it at all,
Mm-hmm.
and I
Well,
understand
that
it.
It's not like the Browns didn't try to win though. Think about it. They still went and tried to get Deshaun Watson, right? The guy just didn't produce. He's
Yeah,
been a
some
bust.
moves just don't work out. Some moves
Yeah,
just
it
don't
just
work
didn't
out, and
work
that's the
out.
life of a GM. But
Hopefully
the
they
thing
get a
is,
top
like, you got
pick.
to just keep going. You just got to keep going, keep fighting, and I think that's the difference with me being a D tackle. Is like I don't even think of this shit. I'm like, all right, like I say, I go in there and bust some heads open. So we just D tackles just think different because we can double team almost every play. So we hoping that these people on the edge are free and able to go make the plays, and we hope it's Miles, but once again, you got to go handle your business, man. And so it's always love, baby. But NFL's a business, and you got to go. Like Marshawn said, you got to go take care of that chicken.
Right. And with Debo Samuel, right, requesting a trade, I think the 49ers is the best system for him. Right.
100%.
Guarding Debo Samuels, playing against the guy. He's not a route runner. Right. He's fairly easy to guard, right, for me as a DB. Right. He's more of a joker. He's more of a running back. He's more of once you get the ball in this guy's hands, he can make plays. Right. He's a playmaker with the ball in his hands. And I think Denver already has that with
Hymns.
um
Mims,
with Mims, right? And so it's gonna be interesting to see where he goes, But I think Broncos was one of the teams that was looking at him. I'm like,
Yeah.
yeah, Mims is already that, right? And Debo, I think Mims might be a better route runner than Debo right now, right? So he's more of a bigger slash like running back slash, guy. But once you get the ball in this guy's hands, he can make plays. But I don't think his trade value will be crazy. I think the 49ers is the best system for him. And I think he should stand. Really, it's like, hey, we're either going to cut you or you're going to get it, or we're going to need to trade you. That's really what they're saying right now.
man, they can't cut him though. That dead cap, is tough, and they're going to be in a tough situation having to play Purdy. But 49ers are definitely in a tough situation, and they're going to have to figure it out.
It's going to be interesting, man, because they got to pay Purdy, right? They've had a luxury of being able to, build around the quarterback because your quarterback is a seventh round pick, right? But now you got to pay that quarterback. Trent Williams, his age and his him coming back is questionable, right? So the
Hmm.
49ers, I think they're gonna start rebuilding. I think they're gonna, let go of all these guys and start rebuilding. And I think that's kind of smart, man. They've had their chance, they've had their run, and a lot of their guys are getting hurt. McCaffrey's getting hurt, Debo's getting hurt. So I think it's just best for those guys to, start rebuilding. But you got to pay Purdy though. You got to pay your quarterback and kind of start rebuilding around him.
And that's it for Where the Harrises. Thanks again for tuning in. Presented to you by our friends over at Landmark Lincoln and the all-new 2024 Lincoln Cozair GT plug-in hybrid. Go to landmarklincoln.com to see the latest offers and incentives and see if you qualify for no payments for up to 90 days. Again, that's landmarklincoln.com, the #1 Lincoln dealer in Colorado. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next week.